Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I wanted to make another top 5 video for you guys, and this is a similar one to one that I did half a year ago, and that was when the casino update was coming out. I did a video, top 5 things the casino update should and should not do, and that one was pretty popular. A lot of people liked it, and I was actually pretty accurate on a lot of the things that I didn't want to see in the update and things that I think should be good in the update, and this is one for this one. For the new DLC that's coming out, top 5 things that Casino Heist should and should not do. These are things that I personally want to see in the game, and some things that I don't personally want to see, some things that I think could be bad for the DLC. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let's get started. So starting off at number 5, we have a good arcade business and activities. Now some of you guys might be looking at this and saying, what are you talking about? This is a casino heist. This isn't going to be a business. Yes, this update is focused mostly on a heist, but there actually is a new property with this update, and it's actually a new business. On the newswire, Rockstar posted this. In order to plan the biggest heist ever perpetrated in Los Santos, heist crew leaders will set up an unexpected new commercial venture as a front, a retro arcade business property shrouding the nerve center within where heist operations are staged and rehearsed. While the business runs above, down below you can practice hacking keypads or cracking vault doors, store equipment and getaway vehicles, and owners of existing businesses can add a master control terminal to handle all current operations. This really interested me, because this update, while it is mostly heist themed, we are also going to have some kind of business, and this business is going to be a front for the heist operation, because it talked about how underground we're going to be able to, practice hacking, practice cracking the vault, and so forth. This goes to show that probably a lot of the mini games in the heist are probably going to be challenging, which is why they let you practice down there, so that when you do the heist itself, you're actually pretty decent at it. But I'm really interested in the above ground portion, because this is sounding very similar to the nightclub. So I wonder what kind of money we're going to be able to make from the arcade business. Now, I don't expect to make millions of dollars from it, but hopefully they let you make something from it, because they let you purchase this business, and you can't make anything from it whatsoever, and you can only go underground. I think that's going to be a big disappointment. It'll probably be something like the nightclub. I'm interested to see what it can be. Maybe it'll have some unique missions. Hopefully there's some missions surrounding the arcade business, and we can make some extra money from it. But also what interests me is this master control thing regarding the businesses. Now, what is that going to be exactly? Existing business owners can have a master control for all their businesses. How is that going to work? It seems like we're going to be able to link all of our businesses together. And I remember the nightclub DLC talked a lot about that, so we'll have to see what that does exactly. A lot of people are saying this is going to be better than a terabyte, but I wonder what that is exactly. I hope it lets us buy supplies from the business. That way we don't have to constantly go to each business and buy supplies, and maybe it'll let us buy crates from it also. We'll have to see what this offers, but I hope that this arcade business also offers a lot of content, not just the heist itself. At number 4, we have make it challenging but not ridiculous. And what I mean by this is I don't mind a challenge, I don't mind when something is challenging, but I don't like it when something is just ridiculous to the point where it's just not fun playing. And a perfect example of this could be the Doomsday Heist, the last heist that was added about 2 years ago. And the Doomsday Heist is known for having some really bad setup missions, and even some finales that are fun. There's some sections in them that are just really bad. And a perfect example of this is the Act 3 finale. Now look, I was playing this with my friend. This was about, February 2018, so this is over a year and a half ago, almost up to 2 years at this point. But basically what happened here was we did the whole Criminal Mastermind 2 people, and we did it on free aim. And what got me really frustrated about the Act 3 finale was that the enemies are just so ridiculously accurate on this. If we take a look at Red Dead Online, for instance, in that game, it's made by the same publisher, it's made by the same developer, Rockstar Games, but yet the enemies, they are a decent challenge, but it's not ridiculous like this. In this one, the enemies have perfect accuracy. If you step out for just a second, or even have like your hand out for a second, they will hit you with perfect accuracy. Even if they're blind firing, they will still hit you with perfect accuracy, and you gotta constantly keep pulling out armors, gotta constantly keep using snacks. If you try to do the Act 3 finale without using snacks or armors, there's almost no way that you're gonna be able to beat it. It's just gonna be a giant pain to do. And it's not just about difficulty. It's not just about difficulty. There's also some missions that are just really badly designed. Like, for instance, the Escort ULP mission, that mission is one of the worst designed missions that I've ever seen in GT Online. The whole mission concept makes no sense. In the prep mission, we steal a Chernobog from Merryweather. We kill a bunch of Merryweather guards, drive this Chernobog all the way back to our facility, store it underground, and then they take it out of the facility, They store it in the construction site in Paleto Bay, just leave it there, let Avon's goons take it, it gets stolen a second time, then we need to go and retrieve it again, we need to kill all of Avon's goons, then ULP shows up in this Havoc helicopter, and instead of going right above the mountain and going straight to the, the safe house, the Havoc is actually a decently fast helicopter, he's going like 5 miles per hour right above the highway where all of Avon's cars are spawning, all these Valkyrie helicopters that keep going after the helicopter. This mission is so long. Even if you're one of the best players in the game, this mission is going to take you at least 10 to 15 minutes just to finish it. And we also have, the Avenger mission in Act 2. That one where, the power goes out and you have to use night vision goggles. And this one is just horrible. The NPC aim is ridiculous. They can hit you with perfect accuracy. This mission, I did it on my first attempt with my friends. When I first did it, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe I actually completed the Avenger mission on my first attempt, but we did it. But it's just an unnecessary difficulty. I don't mind when it's challenging. I don't mind when missions are decently hard, but not something like this. Make it a challenge, but don't make it ridiculously annoying like this. I hope the setup missions and the finale in the casino heist, I hope they're fun. They have good design to them. You actually want to play the setup missions. They're not repetitive, and they're not annoying. Which also brings me to my next point. Get rid of the fail system. Now this right here, you guys see me doing the single player heist, the jewelry store robbery. And this is a perfect example of what should actually happen in heists, instead of what we had in multiplayer with the original heist and also the Doomsday heist. Now the most annoying thing about heists, in my opinion, and I think a lot of people can agree with me on this, the main reason that I don't like playing heists is when people fail. I don't like it because all it takes is one person to fail, one person to die, and then the whole team gets messed up and the whole team has to reset. And the worst is when somebody leaves, because then when somebody leaves, you get taken back into the cloud screen, you gotta load back into free mode, and you gotta connect in the lobby, invite everybody again. It's just a nightmare. And I really don't like it when people keep dying in heist. When somebody dies once or twice, that's understandable, that's fine. We all make mistakes. I've died in heist as well. I'm sure everybody here has. But when somebody keeps dying repeatedly, over and over and over again, that just gets really frustrating. And, what they can do instead is get rid of the whole fail system. The only time you should actually fail is when everybody on the heist team is dead. When every single person is dead, that is when you should fail. And this is a perfect example of what should happen in multiplayer heists. Now, for this mission, I chose the worst gunman. And what happens in this mission is when you're driving, when you're trying to get away, he actually crashes right at the beginning of the tunnel. He dies right here. But even after he dies, you can still pick up the bag. And you can still take his cut and you can still get out of there. So a heist member has died, but you can still complete the heist. You can still do the heist. You have to improvise. And that's what made heist challenging, because you didn't know if you put a bad crew member on there, you put a guy that takes a really low cut, his skill isn't necessarily going to be the greatest. And what happened in the single-player heist is whenever somebody would fail, a heist member would fail, it was random. You didn't know who was going to fail, what was going to happen exactly. And if somebody failed, you had to improvise. You had to continue with the heist. And this happened in the other heists as well. If you put on some of the bad heist members, they can fail, they can die, some other things can happen. But you still had to improvise, and you still continued the heist. Get rid of the fail system where if somebody dies, it has to restart constantly. Do it instead where if somebody dies, if it's not like something really, really important, you can keep playing the heist, and maybe that person will get a lower cut or something along those lines. It's just really frustrating when somebody dies and it holds up the rest of the team. It's just really annoying. Next at number 2, we have add good payouts and avoid overpricing the update. Now, these two are pretty similar to each other, so I decided to put them both in the same category. Now, this update is being described as the biggest heist ever in Los Santos. I thought the Union Depository was the biggest heist, and this heist, if it's going to be the biggest heist ever, I expect much better payouts than the Pacific Standard. I expect a pretty good payout after putting all this work in. You have to buy a property for it. It's going to involve all this planning, all these setup missions, probably going to require you to also own some equipment alongside it. If they're going to go to that much effort, I expect a pretty good payout, because the max payout on it is going to be like $500,000, and you have to split that with like 4 people. That's not going to be good. A lot of people are going to be pretty disappointed by that, so have good payouts and also avoid overpricing the update. I understand that Rockstar has to make their money from shark cards. They're not making this update at the goodness of their hearts. I get that, but just don't make it ridiculously overpriced. The last update, the casino update, was pretty fairly priced. The Arena Wars update, that was really, really bad, really expensive. everything very overpriced, even the clothes, and had some ridiculous random trade prices. I don't mind trade prices as long as they're linked directly to the heist because it encourages you to play the activity, but don't make it really overpriced, because if you make it really overpriced, people aren't going to want to keep grinding constantly to get that stuff. Make it, fairly priced, not really cheap either, but, something that people can afford if they play the game enough. And the number one thing that I think the casino heist should definitely do is add different approaches. And what I mean by this is if we take a look at the single player heist, for instance, right here, this is the Bureau Raid. And this is actually one of my favorite heists. And in this heist, Michael has to actually infiltrate the FIB building with Franklin and his crew and actually steal a data drive. And there's two approaches, and even though both approaches are for the exact same heist, you're both stealing the exact same thing, they make the mission entirely different. And this is what the online heists missed entirely. The original heist and the Doomsday heist, there is no different approach. You always have to do it the same way the game wants you to do it. Always the same exact way, the same exact thing every time. The single player heist, I replayed them multiple times with different crews. I did the different approaches just to see what would happen, to look at all the different dialogue. It was great. Why don't the heists in the online have different approaches? Why can't we have a stealth approach for like one heist and then have an obvious approach also alongside it? And there's benefits and cons to both approaches. We take a look at here, you see right here, Michael, he's mopping up the floor pretending to be a janitor. He puts in a charge in the locker, the bathroom, he leaves, the building explodes. After the building explodes, they go in as firemen. They retrieve the data drive right there, and then they have to get out of the burning building, they have to escape, they have to fight through a bunch of FIB agents, they have to watch their oxygen meter, and they get out, they get to the fire truck, they blow up the fire truck, and they get out of there. And the second approach, this one, you actually parachute in. You parachute in with ski masks, going through the roof, kind of with a stealthy approach, but then when you blow open the door, the alarm goes off, you start hacking the computer right here, you have to fight all the FIB agents, and you have to fight your way through the building. The helicopter, in the meantime, actually, when it tries to pick you up, gets shot down, it explodes right here, you have to improvise, you have to rely on your getaway driver now, and you're fighting to get out of the building, you rappel down the building, and you escape, and in this case, my getaway driver had an ambulance ready, and we escaped with an ambulance in all the confusion. This is how heist should be in online, careful planning like this, a lot of teamwork, a lot of different roles, different approaches. Why don't the heists in online have different approaches? This is what this one should really have. And if you look at the text in this update, in the Newswire post, it looks like there is going to be different approaches or some kind of variation in the missions, and I really hope so, because I don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again, because what really scares me about this update, and I'm excited for this update, don't get me wrong, but what really scares me is what happens if it's the exact same thing. There's no different approaches, just like the original heist and the Doomsday heist. It's the same thing over and over again. We play it like 2 to 3 times, and then after that we get bored, and we don't want to do the same thing over and over again. I really hope that doesn't happen with this update, so please, add different approaches, let us plan this out, have some unique roles, don't let it be repetitive. And that is that for this list. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if there's anything else that you want to see with this DLC, and if you guys enjoyed my video, drop a like, and if you're new to my channel, enjoy my content, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone.